In today's episode, The Power of Silence, Why Saying Less Can Transform Your Life, we'll explore ways to bring more clarity, calm, and mindfulness into your day. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you won't miss any of the inspiring stories and wisdom we'll share next. Have you ever stopped to think about how powerful your words really are? Buddha once said that our tongue is like the sharpest knife in the world. It doesn't cut flesh, but it can pierce hearts. Words have the power to lift someone up or completely crush their spirit. And the scary thing is, we often speak without realizing the weight of what we say. Think about a time when someone's words stayed with you for years. Was it a kind encouragement or a harsh criticism? Buddha taught that wisdom isn't just about what we say, but when and how we say it. Speaking the right words at the right time can open doors, build trust, and heal wounds. But careless words can create chaos, destroy relationships, and even make our own lives harder. Today, I want to share a story that perfectly illustrates this truth. It's a powerful reminder that silence isn't just the absence of sound. It's a skill, a tool, and sometimes the most profound response we can give. So, take a deep breath, settle in, and let's explore how the art of staying silent could transform your life. Once, deep in the forests of ancient India, there lived a Buddhist monk whose presence alone brought peace to those around him. He was known far and wide for his deep meditation practice and his calm, grounded energy, a stark contrast to the chaos of the outside world. One day, a powerful king came to visit him. This king had everything most of us dream of: wealth, fame, and endless luxury. Yet inside, he felt deeply restless. He confessed to the monk, "I have everything a man could want, yet my mind feels like a storm. I am tired, frustrated, and nothing seems to bring me peace." Now, think about that for a moment. How often do we tell ourselves that if we just had a little more money, more recognition, more comfort, we'd finally feel happy? Yet, here was a man with the whole world at his feet, and still he couldn't find peace within. The monk listened quietly, then smiled gently and said, "The answer you're searching for is already inside you, but you haven't discovered it yet. I'd like to suggest an experiment." Curious and desperate, the king agreed. The monk's instructions were simple but challenging. Stay in my monastery for the next 15 days. Live like a simple monk. Speak as little as possible, only when absolutely necessary. Spend your days in silence. At first, the king hesitated. 15 days of silence? No attendance, no luxuries, no one to talk to? It felt impossible. But something in the monk's calmness convinced him to try. So for the first time in his life, the king stepped away from his golden palace and chose to live quietly, stripped of all distractions. What he didn't realize was that these 15 days would completely change the way he saw life. On the very first day of his stay at the monastery, the king found himself struggling. The silence was deafening. His mind wouldn't stop racing. Thoughts about his kingdom, his wealth, his worries, even his pride flooded in like a tidal wave. He felt restless, almost trapped, and every part of him wanted to speak, to give an order, to hear his own voice. But he stayed quiet, just as the monk had instructed. By the second day, something began to shift. With no servants rushing about and no constant chatter, the king started noticing things he had never truly seen before. The vibrant colors of the flowers in the monastery garden, the gentle sway of trees in the breeze, and the way birds soared effortlessly across the sky. It all felt new, like he was experiencing life with fresh eyes. For perhaps the first time, he slowed down enough to appreciate the world around him. Days passed, and by the 10th day, a profound calm had rooted inside him. The inner storm that had plagued him for years began to dissolve. He no longer felt the constant pull of worry or the heaviness of restlessness. Silence wasn't suffocating anymore. It was liberating. By day 12, something even more extraordinary happened. Meditation came to him naturally. He didn't force it, didn't struggle to quiet his mind. It just happened. His eyes closed on their own, and he slipped into a deep, peaceful state. For the final days of his stay, he lived in a kind of serenity he had never known before. When the 15 days ended, the king returned to the monk with a humbled heart. He admitted that his life of constant noise, endless conversations, and negative thoughts had drained his energy and clouded his mind. He realized his failures and unhappiness weren't because of the world outside, but because he had never learned to be still inside. Meditation, he now understood, wasn't something to chase or control. It was something that naturally blossomed in silence. This experience forever changed him. The man who once ruled a kingdom discovered that true mastery begins not with conquering lands, but with conquering the chaos within. When the king shared his realization, the monk nodded knowingly. He said, "You see, you are not alone in this struggle. Even today, thousands of years later, people suffer in the same way, not because they don't have enough, but because they talk too much, think too much, and rarely pause to listen to themselves." The monk then told the king a story about Buddha himself. One of Buddha's students once asked, "Master, why do you spend so much time in silence?" Buddha smiled and replied, "Because silence allows me to dive deep within myself. Without silence, there is no true understanding." Let that sink in for a moment. We live in a world that constantly encourages noise, social media notifications, endless conversations, and the pressure to have an opinion about everything. But Buddha taught that 90% of our talking is unnecessary and often harmful. Imagine this: if we cut back just a little, if we embraced silence even for a short time each day, we could eliminate 90% of our problems. Fewer arguments, less stress, more peace. Silence is not emptiness, it's a doorway. It allows us to hear our own thoughts clearly, to reconnect with our inner energy, and to step away from the chaos of life. The monk reminded the king that peace isn't about escaping the world, it's about finding stillness even in the busiest of places. When you cultivate inner silence, you carry calm with you, no matter where you are. Think about your own life. How often do you pause, really pause, to listen to your inner voice? When was the last time you turned off the noise and sat quietly with yourself? These small, simple choices, to speak less, to listen more, can transform not just your day, but your entire life. True peace is not something we can buy, earn, or receive from someone else. It's something we discover within ourselves. We often chase happiness in relationships, material success, or recognition. But if you've ever felt empty, even after achieving what you thought you wanted, you know that real peace doesn't come from the outside world. It starts deep inside, in a place only you can reach. Taking this inner journey is like watching the sun rise and set within your own heart. Every time you pause and turn inward, you witness the cycles of your own emotions, thoughts, and desires, just like watching day turn to night. And each time you return from that place of stillness, it feels like stepping out of a refreshing bath. Your mind is lighter, your heart is clearer, and your spirit feels renewed. When you nurture this inner peace, something extraordinary happens. You can move through the world calmly, even in chaos. You can speak with clarity and kindness, and your words carry a weight that inspires rather than wounds. Silence doesn't make you weak, it strengthens you. It's a quiet power that frees you from the constant pressure to prove yourself or meet society's endless expectations. Have you ever met someone whose very presence feels calming? Someone who doesn't need to say much, yet you feel at ease around them. That's the kind of radiant energy silence creates. It's not about withdrawing from life, it's about engaging with life from a place of strength and joy. This journey inward isn't just for monks or spiritual seekers, it's for all of us. It's about reclaiming your own mind, your own peace, and stepping into a version of yourself that is calm, confident, and deeply alive. Have you ever met someone who talks so much that you leave the conversation feeling drained rather than inspired? Or maybe you've been that person yourself, filling every silence because quiet feels uncomfortable. The truth is, excessive talking isn't just a harmless habit, it's a barrier to true understanding, focus, and connection. When we talk too much, we scatter our energy. Our minds become distracted, and we lose the ability to listen, not just to others, but to ourselves. Think about it. Some of the wisest leaders and most respected individuals in history are remembered for their measured words, not for constant chatter. Speaking less doesn't mean staying silent out of fear. It's about making your words intentional, thoughtful, and worth listening to. People naturally trust and respect someone who speaks with purpose. On the other hand, gossip, dishonesty, or speaking without care erodes relationships and tarnishes reputations. How many friendships or family bonds have been damaged because of careless words? Ancient texts across cultures remind us that words carry power. They're not just sounds, they're reflections of our beliefs, values, and character. When we practice patience and embrace silence, even for a few moments a day, we gain something priceless: self-awareness. Meditation teaches us to pause before we speak, to let wisdom guide our words instead of emotion or impulse. Imagine how different our relationships, workplaces, and communities would be if more of us paused to think before speaking. So, here's a question for you. What if the key to being heard more was actually speaking less? What if your quiet confidence and thoughtful words became the reason others leaned in when you finally chose to speak? True power doesn't come from dominating conversations. It comes from mastering your mind and letting your words become meaningful. What if just 20 minutes of your day could completely change the way you feel, think, and move through life? Imagine starting or ending your day in complete solitude. No phone buzzing, no noise from the world, just you, your breath, and your thoughts gently settling. In that quiet space, your mind begins to reset. Your stress softens, your heart feels lighter, and your inner wisdom finally has a chance to speak. You don't have to become a monk or move to a mountain retreat to experience this kind of peace. All it takes is a simple, intentional practice, a daily pause. 20 minutes of stillness can bring more clarity, patience, and calm than hours of scrolling or rushing through tasks. The more you commit to this habit, the more you'll notice a shift. You become calmer in chaos, more confident in decisions, and deeply connected to your true self. So if this message resonates with you, I'd love to invite you to join our Inspira Zen community, a space where we learn, grow, and support each other on the path of wisdom and inner freedom. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if this video brought you even a moment of peace or inspiration. Your support helps spread these teachings to more people who need them. Thank you for being here, for choosing wisdom over noise, and for walking this journey with me. Remember, Real transformation doesn't happen overnight. It happens in small, daily choices. And today, you've already taken one step closer to the calm and clarity you deserve.